This is what's killing wholesale real estate. I'm going to go over an article with you all about a homeowner that recently had a bad experience with the wholesaler. And as we know, a few bad apples ruins the whole entire industry, and it just puts a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. And a lot of realtors and agents, they use this to start making laws around wholesaling real estate. And it's not only real estate agents. Some real estate agents, they work well with wholesalers, but you can just see this push towards banning, requiring licensing, making it more restrictive in order to wholesale real estate. And stories like this pushes that agenda forward. And I'm all for making sure this is a safe business for homeowners. And I actually do agree with some of the licensing requirements or some of the disclosure requirements in certain cities and states because of what's been happening in this industry, and just to provide more professionalism in this industry, and because of stories like this. So I'm going to share this story with you all, read it. Let me know your thoughts on this story down below. Essentially, it goes over a homeowner that tried to get out of a deal with a wholesaler, and this wholesaler wouldn't let it go, right? Because they signed an affidavit, right? And we heard of that. I've heard of that. I usually didn't do that. I only did it once, and that's because I partnered with another wholesaling company, and they were way on top of their documents, and they just really didn't want to make sure anybody just fell by the cracks or anything like that. And so that was the only time I did that. But honestly, it's just crazy that people would do this, especially to a homeowner who's elderly, and just really try to take advantage of them. But I'm all for wholesaling, and I'm all for also, making sure homeowners are treated correctly and with respect. So let's go over this article and let me know your thoughts down below. All right, homeowner says real estate wholesale company demanded $10,000 to clear title after proposed sale fell through. Affidavit of memorandum filed in court days after seller walked away. And for those who don't know that, essentially that kind of restricts the person from going to another wholesaler because they got a higher deal, right? A lot of real estate transactions, they may sign something like that in order for the homeowner not to just jump ship in order to go to a different deal. But sometimes people are all like, hey, I'm getting screwed, right? You're offering me $1 million less than the value of my home. I wasn't aware. I can't, I'll still work with you, but it has to be at a better price. Yes, I understand my property's not the best condition, but I need to get a better price. And a lot of times wholesalers, they just let it go, or they actually come up to a better price. But apparently this wholesaler didn't. So let's read. So this was in Florida. So that's telling. Maybe Florida may be the new state to really push more laws and restrictions on wholesaling real estate. The I-Team has learned a wholesale real estate company used a type of document you've probably never heard of to try to cash in on a property transaction that fell through years earlier. Wow, so this was years. The company is filing these documents to enforce agreements to prevent property sellers from walking away unscathed from signed contracts. One woman said it prevented her from being able to sell her home years after she thought she got out of her original deal. Since 2017, retiree social worker Angela lived in a small unit in St. Petersburg, 55 and older condo community. She paid cash, renovated it herself, and doesn't owe anything. Hey, good for her. But when Angela decided to sell, her title company told her there was a problem caused by a document filed with the county clerk in 2020 by a real estate company Simply Sold. The company is the marketing arm of wholesale real estate broker Equity Pro, and shares the same offers. I got a postcard in the mail. She contacted the company, initially agreed to sell her home. So, your basic wholesale postcard, and she agreed to sell. She signed a sale agreement for $29,000. Wow, that's pretty cheap. June of 2020. On July 2nd, she decided to back out, saying in the mail, "At this time, my circumstances have changed, and so my condo is no longer for sale." They were harassing me with phone calls, emails, and I just shut down and ignored them. On July 6, 4 days after Angela emailed the company and said she would not close, Simply Sold filed an affidavit and memoranda of agreement with the county clerk court. They create this document out of thin air called this affidavit or memoranda of contract. Then it's signed, notarized, and dated. Lyons, I guess the real estate attorney, said these documents are common with real estate investors who often don't plan to buy the properties themselves, wholesalers. What they're going to do is take your property and list it on Facebook, and if they can make more money, then they will sell your property before they even buy it from you. Yeah, that's wholesaling. The way he makes it sound is very like, oh, all these people are scammers. You don't only post it on Facebook, you find other investors and things of that nature. But yeah, we found dozens of affidavits like Angela from Simply Sold filed in these counties in Florida. The contracts were assignable, and in many cases, Simply Sold wasn't the buyer. Simply Sold employee Angela dealt with regular advertises to investors on Facebook. Angela said the calls and emails from Simply Sold finally stopped a month after she signed the contract. She said they never did an appraisal or inspection of the property. Never came out. They never gave me any money. Nothing. So maybe this was a virtual deal. The company requests $10,000 to release the document. Wow. So this is 4 years later, because this is 2024. And she's trying to sell her house. Apparently they signed an affidavit. I thought those affidavits only lasted for a certain amount of time, but I guess they last for a long time. But she tried to sell it, and they're like, "Oh, okay, well, we can at least make some money from this." So they're requesting $10,000 to get it resolved. Their first request from me was $10,000, then $5,000, and now $2,000. Their thinking is they will just record it and leave it in the chain of title and just sit and wait. I said, "How would you like somebody to do what you're doing to me, to your mother, to your to your grandmother? How would you feel about that?" They didn't answer. And that's the thing, like with real estate investing, like I've learned too that there's a balance between like putting yourself in the tenant's shoe, in the seller's shoes, and or like, you know, acting like, okay, if this is my mother, this is my grandmother, or a family member, how would I buy this property? How would I treat them? Yes, I do want to make money, and I can't let people take advantage of me or anything like that. But at the same time, these are human beings. If I was in their case, how would I act? There's a balance, because you need to be business-minded, know your numbers, and be strict, and actually put your foot down sometimes. But other times, you just have to understand this is shelter that you're providing for people, and you know, this is their property. You know, you can't stronghold them or take advantage of them. But so they get caught in this problem where either they have to throw some money at this or make it go away, or they're not able to sell their home. Dang. Like I said, you only have a year to file a legal action to enforce a contract in Florida. But that doesn't mean the document can't hurt property owners. We call Simply Sold attorney Timothy Harris, who is also a real estate associate at Equity Pro, said he was involved in the negotiation. Harris called us back later that afternoon. He declined it on camera, but agreed to let Angela out of her agreement without payment. Okay, that's a good way to just handle it. Because why would you be requesting money when it's years later, right? And on top of that, yeah, I would just let it go. Maybe it is something where, hey, I totally forgot I signed this affidavit. You're trying to sell, yeah, let's just clear this. I apologize, and just move on. So they talked to their attorney and they just cleared it. So that's good. Hey, good job to the attorney, but maybe he is not directly associated with like the agents or the other wholesalers, but it leaves a bad taste for wholesaling real estate. What do you all think so far of this story? Before she got the news, Angela shared some advice for anyone thinking about selling to a wholesale buyer. They should be 100% sure of what they're getting into. They should read all the fine print, and if they can afford it, they should hire a real estate lawyer to help them in the process. Angela sold her home May 10th for $75,000, nearly 3 times the amount she was offered in 2020. So, yeah, so essentially that's the story. One interesting thing that I think they said is that Lion said you only have a year to file a legal action to enforce a contract in Florida. But that doesn't mean the document can't hurt property owners. Okay, so yeah, because this was 4 years later. I'm like, how is this still binding? But it can still hurt the property owners. It still shows up on the title search and everything like that. Overall, this is the industry. I think it's changing day by day, month by month. I'm reading a lot of articles about stories like this, of new laws, of new licenses, of new license requirements around the country. So I'll keep you all updated. Make sure you subscribe for more videos around the wholesale real estate industry and actually how to implement it into your business, how to actually wholesale real estate. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you all later.